Thalassophobia, the profound and instinctive fear of deep bodies of water, is among the most widespread and deeply ingrained phobias known to humanity. It is a terror that transcends culture and time, an unshakable unease that lingers in the minds of those who gaze into the abyss of the sea and feel an overwhelming sense of vulnerability. And truly, it is not difficult to understand why so many experience this paralyzing dread when confronted with the vast, seemingly infinite expanse of the ocean. Beneath its shimmering surface, beyond the reach of sunlight, exists a world alien to human understanding place, where the unknown lurks in the shadows, where creatures of nightmarish proportions, wholly unlike anything that walks the land, drift silently through the blackness. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the fascinating world of extinct reptiles and their incredible stories, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. There's so much more to uncover about these prehistoric wonders, so let's keep exploring together. Stay tuned for more. Even in our age of advanced exploration and increasingly sophisticated underwater technology, the ocean remains a realm of secrets. It is an uncharted wilderness where life has evolved in ways that defy expectation, producing organisms so bizarre, so monstrous in appearance and behavior, that they seem as if they belong to a dimension entirely separate from our own. Humanity has only just begun to uncover the mysteries of the deep, having mapped more of the surface of the Moon and Mars than we have of our own oceans. We have barely scratched the surface of its unfathomable vastness, and with each new expedition into its crushing depths, we are met with the revelation of biological horrors that challenge our very perception of what is possible. But this fear of the ocean, of what lurks beneath, is not a modern construct. It is a fear as old as time, woven into the very fabric of human existence, a relic from an era when the survival of our ancestors depended on their ability to recognize danger in its many forms. The notion that the waters of the world are treacherous, that they conceal dangers beyond reckoning, is a belief as ancient as civilization itself. Maritime legends of sea serpents, monstrous leviathans, and abyssal horrors have persisted across cultures for millennia, a testament to the universal anxiety that the ocean has always provoked. And while these tales are often dismissed as mere myth, exaggerated accounts of encounters with the unknown, the truth is that the ocean has always been home to creatures more terrifying than folklore could ever conjure. Indeed, the seas of today, though, still inhabited by formidable predators, but a shadow of what they once were. Those who believe that the modern great white shark or the elusive giant squid represent the pinnacle of marine terror are mistaken. There was a time when the oceans of Earth were far more dangerous. A time when the creatures that ruled the depths were not only larger but far more ferocious. Their evolutionary arms race driving them to become some of the most efficient killing machines the planet has ever seen. The ancient waters of Earth were filled with monsters beyond imagination, beasts so immense, so powerful. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the fascinating world of extinct reptiles and their incredible stories, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. There's so much more to uncover about these prehistoric wonders, so let's keep exploring together. Stay tuned for more. And so grotesquely adapted for predation that even the most fearless of modern divers would hesitate before venturing into their domain. And yet, the ocean was not always a place of such overwhelming dread. If one were to travel far enough back in time, hundreds of millions of years, they would discover a world where the seas were, by comparison, remarkably tame. In fact, if one were to journey back to the Cambrian period, over 500 million years ago, they would witness an ocean that was far less dangerous than one might expect. This is particularly ironic considering that the Cambrian was an era of extraordinary biodiversity, a time when life was experiencing its first great explosion of complexity, leading to the emergence of numerous new and experimental forms. It was the period in which the first vertebrates arose, setting the stage for the future evolution of fish and, eventually, the marine predators that would come to dominate the world's waters. Yet despite this surge in evolutionary innovation, the oceans of the Cambrian were not yet ruled by nightmarish leviathans. An environment where every creature was either a hunter or the hunted. Many might suggest that the transformation began in the Ordovician period, which followed the Cambrian and saw the rise of some of the first large marine predators. Among these were the orthocones, giant relatives of modern squid and nautiluses, armed with powerful tentacles and crushing beaks. These formidable mollusks were among the earliest creatures capable of inspiring genuine fear, their elongated shells allowing them to grow to enormous sizes. But even at their most terrifying, the marine predators of the Ordovician were only a prelude to what was to come. The true turning point arrived around 419 million years ago, marking the beginning of an era in which the oceans underwent an irreversible transformation into domains of unimaginable brutality and survival-driven carnage. This was the Devonian period, an age now known as the Age of Fish, a time when the waters of Earth became an unforgiving gauntlet, dominated by the most fearsome aquatic creatures to have ever existed. This was the period in which nature, through the ruthless process of evolution, sculpted the first true multi-ton marine super-predator-skulking, heavily armored, and devastatingly efficient killing machines that established an entirely new standard for terror in the seas. At this point in Earth's history, the world itself was vastly different from the one we know today. Unlike the modern Earth, where oceans cover approximately 70% of the planet's surface, the Devonian was a true water world with an overwhelming 85% of the Earth's expanse submerged beneath vast, primordial seas. Towering landmasses had yet to fully take shape, and vast superoceans dominated the globe. Some of these ancient bodies of water, such as Panthalassa, were so incomprehensibly massive that a traveler could sail for thousands of miles in any direction without encountering land. It was a world where land was fragmented, isolated, and often barren, while the oceans reigned supreme, shaping the fate of all life on Earth. Despite this dominance of water, however, it was not the deep, open ocean that harbored the greatest nightmares. Instead, the most fearsome horrors lurked in the shallow coastal waters, where life flourished in staggering abundance. It was in these nutrient-rich environments, teeming with prey, that evolution crafted its most efficient marine predator creatures, so large and so uniquely adapted for destruction that they would make even the most formidable sharks of today appear weak by comparison. At the pinnacle of this monstrous hierarchy stood Dunkleosteus, a being that defied all conventional comparisons. A behemoth in every conceivable way, this armored titan was one of the most fearsome marine predators to ever exist. Growing up to 33 feet, 10 meters in length, it was comparable in size to the largest of modern great white sharks, yet infinitely more dangerous. Unlike sharks, which rely on rows of serrated, ever-replacing teeth, Dunkleosteus was equipped with enormous plates of bone in place of teeth razor-sharp, interlocking blades that functioned like a biological guillotine. With a single crushing motion, these fearsome jaws could slice through flesh, armor, and even solid bone with horrifying ease. What made Dunkleosteus even more terrifying was the sheer power of its bite. Researchers estimate that its bite force reached an astonishing 880,000 pounds per square inch, making it one of the most powerful bites in the history of life on Earth. This was a force greater than anything seen in modern fish, exceeding even the crushing power of high-caliber firearms. A single snap of its jaws could obliterate anything unfortunate enough to be caught within its reach. But perhaps the most terrifying aspect of Dunkleosteus was that its prey never saw it coming. Its uniquely structured jaw allowed it to open its mouth at lightning speed, creating a vacuum effect that sucked prey directly into its maw. Often too late to escape, Dunkleosteus was not alone in its reign of terror. The Devonian seas were home to countless other nightmarish predators, each uniquely adapted to a world where survival meant absolute dominance. It was a world unlike any other, a time when the ocean was not merely dangerous, but utterly, incomprehensibly terrifying. What made Dunkleosteus even more terrifying was its sheer bite force, which has been estimated at 880,000 pounds per square inch of the most powerful bites of any animal in history, living or extinct. This force was greater than any modern fish and even exceeded the force produced by high-caliber firearms. A single snap of its jaws was enough to crush anything unfortunate enough to find itself within reach. And if that was not terrifying enough, Dunkleosteus did not merely bite its prey, it sucked it in. Using a highly specialized jaw mechanism, it could snap open its mouth with such speed that it created a powerful suction force, dragging any nearby prey straight into its waiting maw. Once caught, there was no escape. Even the largest creatures of its time stood little chance against its devastating attack. But Dunkleosteus was not alone. It was merely the most infamous member of a vast and terrifying lineage. The Devonian seas were home to an entire family of armored fish, many of which were just as capable of dominating the food chain. These included Eastmanosteus and Westalosteus, two large, shark-sized placoderms that prowled the waters of ancient Australia. Another relative, Titanichthys, grew to colossal proportions, reaching lengths of 25 feet, 7.6 meters. Though it was a plankton feeder, much like a modern whale shark, its immense size and alien appearance would have made it an unnerving sight for any swimmer. Further north, another placoderm, Heterosteus, reached lengths of 20 feet, 6 meters, and likely ambushed prey from the ocean floor, using its wide, flattened body to remain undetected before launching sudden, devastating strikes. This was a world where the hunters came in all shapes and sizes, each one uniquely adapted to the kill. In the Devonian depths, this was also the time when Cladocoelacanths, primitive relatives of modern sharks, emerged as swift and agile hunters, their needle-like teeth perfectly adapted for gripping and tearing through flesh. Sea scorpions, some reaching 8 feet (2.5 meters) in length, wielded enormous pincers capable of crushing their prey with bone-snapping force. Predator with conical teeth twice the length of those of a modern bull shark. Some paleontologists believe it was capable of leaping onto land to snatch prey, making even the shoreline an unsafe refuge. Despite the dominance of these prehistoric titans, their reign was not eternal. Around 372 million years ago, the world suffered one of its greatest mass extinctions, the Late Devonian extinction. Over 50% of marine species perished, including the entire Dunkleosteus lineage. The exact cause remains a mystery, though theories range from volcanic eruptions and asteroid impacts to the rapid expansion of plant life altering atmospheric conditions. Whatever the cause, the Devonian world came to an end, and with it, many of its nightmares. But the oceans would never remain safe for long. The cycle of evolution continued, and new horrors would soon rise to take their place. The waters, it seems, have always been and will always be a place of fear. Subscribe now for more dives into prehistoric horrors. The oceans may seem terrifying now, but they are nothing compared to the nightmares that once ruled the depths. From armored giants to monstrous hunters, the ancient seas were a world of relentless carnage. So, next time you look at the ocean, remember it was once far worse,